The legalization of recreational marijuana could lead to an increase in arrests for impaired driving. For police officers, those impairments aren't as easy to spot. As Emily Haugen reports, some Brooklyn Park police officers have special training to try to keep more people safe on the roads.
It has changed a lot.
After the legalization of recreational cannabis,
we knew that there were going to need to be steps taken to make sure that our department was more prepared to deal with DWI drivers.
One thing remains the same. Driving under the influence of any substance is illegal.
All officers are trained in standard field sobriety testing.
Elliot Faust at the Brooklyn Park Police Department says pot can be harder to spot. Right now, 4 Brooklyn Park officers are trained to do more.
These little nuanced and subtle things that they might be able to pick up that are known to be indicators of drug impairment.
They're drug recognition experts.
They're experts in the effects that drugs have on the human body.
He says testing with DREs could take hours away from the traffic stop.
Ultimately, what officers have to prove is that a driver is impaired.
Soon, 2 more officers within their department will strengthen those efforts.
There's a 2-week-long training they have to go through. They have to go out of state.
Faust says that addition will benefit communities outside Brooklyn Park, too.
Part of that position is that we're agreeing to help our neighbors, if you will.
In Brooklyn Park, Emily Haugen, CCX News.
The 2 additional officers will be trained by October. A man with a long history of speeding was sentenced this week for a crash that killed a Plymouth woman. According to criminal charges, Christopher Keyes of Corcoran was driving 95 miles per hour in a 45 mile per hour zone when he struck and killed another driver at that intersection in Plymouth last year. He was also driving without a valid license. According to terms of a plea deal, Keyes must serve 1 year in the Hennepin County Workhouse. He also faces additional prison time if he fails to follow several conditions. That crash killed 75-year-old Sandra Wetterland. She was turning left on County Road 101 at 38th Avenue when he hit her. Court records show Keyes was ticketed for speeding 7 times since November 2019, and that included a speeding ticket less than a month after the fatal crash. Much of Minnesota is dealing with at least drier than normal conditions this summer. Some cities have put water restrictions in place, but some are simply asking nicely that you try to conserve.
Yesterday, this was a hole in the ground, and I had 2 piles of sand here. I'm not sure that really? I got about 2 cubic yards of dirt put in here because this property is just built on sand.
Lisa Shacharin loves to work in her yard in Crystal.
Yes, it's good exercise. I get out and get my vitamin D.
But she keeps the watering to a minimum.
Occasionally I water my lawn, occasionally I do. I try and do it like at 7 o'clock in the morning. Otherwise, when I water my actual plants, it's usually after 7:30. It's not so hot.
Water use restrictions have become the norm in the Twin Cities as summers lately have trended more dry. But cities like Crystal, Golden Valley, and New Hope get their water from the Mississippi River and have conserved enough so far this summer to avoid mandatory restrictions.
I don't see people watering their lawn during the hot time of day. Actually, I really haven't seen anyone washing their cars.
Still, the city asks that you mindfully conserve water in the cool part of the day. Focus on watering trees more than grass. Leave grass clippings to shade and cool the lawn. And don't cut the grass as often.
It would have been a very different shot yesterday, so maybe I'm glad that you came by today.
To better preserve for those who cherish their time in the yard to continue to use.
I'm hoping to eventually put lawn in again, grass, but I'm doing a garden here, so there's less to mow. It's supposed to be more environmentally sound.
The Met Council unveiled new route details for the Bottineau light rail line this week. The rail line aims to connect Target Field in downtown Minneapolis with the northwest suburbs. The latest route design has track running through North Minneapolis on streets east of I-94 before crossing the highway with a new bridge. The tracks later connect with West Broadway heading north into Robbinsdale. Once the route gets closer to its final design, cities along the line will be asked to give their consent for the project. Those votes are now expected next summer.
Just because North Minneapolis has dealt with its fair share of issues does not mean that there are pockets of Brooklyn Park which have not been overlooked, or Crystal or Robbinsdale or other areas that are not equally concerned about these issues.
Previous estimates put the cost of the project at $1.5 billion. A special event on Monday in Osseo is sure to entertain and raise money to help some local athletes.
We want to give back to students who are running, to kids who are in the cross-country program, and to really support their education.
It's a real fun time talking about living and growing up in Osseo, small town living, and it's really fun. It's very entertaining.
Osceo's Bowerboom Veterans Park will host Home Again Back in Orange and Black, Monday at 6 p.m. The free event will feature storyteller and comedian Kevin Kling, along with singer and songwriter James Hirsch. Both are Osseo Senior High School alumni. The show is free. People are encouraged to donate. All proceeds will go to the Osseo Cross Country Alumni Association and help provide scholarships to graduating seniors. Residents of a Plymouth senior living community got a small taste of Sin City. The Waters of Plymouth was transformed into a Las Vegas-style casino Friday afternoon. Staff members organized the casino-themed party to celebrate the senior living community's 10th anniversary. Residents got to try their luck at blackjack and other games of chance.
It's the least that we could do for our residents, celebrating 10 years with them, and we just love our residents so much and we adore them, so we just wanted to have a really fun celebration for them.
The Waters of Plymouth also handed out awards to the resident who's lived longest at the home, the oldest resident, and the longest tenured staff member.
Maple Grove has produced a lot of hockey talent in recent years. As Jay Wilcox reports, the latest in a line of skilled skaters is ready for the next step in his hockey journey.
Broken up. Here's a chance for Daniel Nelson. Nelson in alone, he scores! Short-handed, and Maple Grove leads 1-0.
It's a dream come true for many. Maple Grove's Danny Nelson was picked in the second round of the NHL draft by the New York Islanders this summer.
Yeah, it was a great experience for me and my family. Kind of being down there in Nashville was super cool. Just experience the whole draft process and kind of go through that last year. And obviously have the opportunity to be selected and be down there too was super cool, and it was a super fun moment that me and my family enjoyed together. A little bit of a plan, kind of just talked about going into the next couple years. Just talked about, we had a couple conversations about just development, and they're going to kind of watch and follow along with my career and kind of help me out wherever I need it.
Nelson starred for Maple Grove High School as a sophomore, then played in the U.S. Development Program last season. He accelerated his graduation from high school and will be a freshman at Notre Dame this fall.
I'm super excited, especially being there with my brother. Super excited to get in there, go be able to play college hockey with my brother and also with my teammates. For my hockey and also my school, I felt like I was kind of ready to take that next step. So I was ready to get there and start school and also kind of compete at that level and compete at the college level.
With Wild rookie Brock Faber among them, the Osseo Maple Grove Youth Association has produced a number of pro draft picks and high-level college players in recent years. Danny Nelson's proud to be one of them.
Yeah, definitely super pumped about seeing that. Super pumped to be a part of it and also see all the guys that have gone through this program before me and ones that are coming up after me that are kind of going through the same process and getting to watch them do the same things as I'm doing or the same things as guys before me have done.
Jay Wilcox, CCX Sports.
The summer off season is a great time for hockey players of any age to work at their craft and improve their game, but it's also a great time to get their bodies ready for the upcoming season along with their minds. Many current hockey players do just that at the Base Sports Performance. When you think of hockey, you probably don't think of meditation or breathing exercises, but that's exactly what's taking place at the Base Sports Performance in New Hope.
Our warm-up here takes almost an hour versus 15 minutes, where we're warming up from our toes all the way up to our top of our spine.
Jake Peranto played hockey at the University of Minnesota and is now the Director of Operations at the Base Sports Performance. Weights and exercise equipment are available, but today is all about mobility.
I think there's a time and place to lift hard. I think there's a time and place to do what we did today. It's all reactionary with athletes too.
As a college athlete, you're pushing, pulling weight a lot. I'm skating as a hockey player, and your body gets a little worn down. So days like today when we had the mobility, having that in the gym is really nice.
Of course, the morning workout at the base doesn't go without some kind of competition. Today's involved the reactionary skill game of two-touch soccer.
A lot of these guys have been saying, like, since we've been doing mobility, they've been getting better at two-touch. So that's being able to move their feet, move their body in ways that they're not used to get comfortable moving your body on the ice.
The morning workout starts how it began, with breathing exercises to enhance the mind and body connection, a staple of the base sports performance.
Jake calls it rest and digest, when you focus on your breathing and slow things down, slow your heart rate down.
The breath work, along with flexibility and mobility, may get overlooked when training for hockey, but it's all part of the formula at the base that prepares athletes for the upcoming season.
I'd like to create a community atmosphere within the gym. So my number one rule is a judgment-free zone, so that includes yourself. So I try to get everyone to be in that flow state with breath work, and that starts with the mind-body connection. Everyone has an opportunity to be the best they want to be. We're just going to give them the tools and leave the breadcrumbs for them to find it themselves.
The base also holds classes for high school and youth hockey athletes. And that's all for sports. I'm Chaz Moots.
Find more prep sports games and highlights at ccxmedia.org and follow us on social media.